Good evening, happy Thanksgiving, and welcome to the rest of the news. Our special guest today is Jim Coyle. And Jim, tell us a little bit about what's going on Salem Radio.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be with you on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes.
And what a wonderful day for our nation and for our families. So I hope everyone watching is huddled around a turkey and having good times with their family. That's the most important thing today. Things are going very well. Resistance Radio is on Sunday nights from 10 to midnight on 970 WGTK. Just finished 2 years. The third year.
2 years.
2 years already, yeah.
Wow, that's something.
Yes, I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Being it's Thanksgiving. And things are looking really good for 2015. Got a lot of great things lined up. Could be some exciting action going on with the show, moving around. So I'll keep you posted on all that as it comes. But things are good so far in 2015, looking even better.
First of all, the most important thing I'm thankful for is that when I was 36 years old, which was about almost 40 years ago, I had a patient who had terminal cancer. Okay? And it was a very sad situation. But this gentleman said to me, he says, I'm going to a better place. Wow, you could have knocked me over with a feather. And it seemed to me that I thought to myself, well, he's going to a better place, but I'm going to a worse place. So that led to one thing led to another until I finally realized that Jesus was the answer to my problems. And I went to an altar and kneeled, and God lifted my burden and gave me something to live for, a purpose, a joy, and peace of mind. And, that's really important.
Absolutely.
I was thought to myself, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how many degrees you have or where you live or what kind of house you live in or anything. The most important thing is to have that peace of mind that you're right with God. Mm-hmm. So that is tremendous. And then the other thing is that I'm grateful for is that there's a purpose to life, that we're not here by accident and we're not just floundering around, but there's a reason for our being here and a purpose, and we're here to honor our Creator and to promote the things of His kingdom. And, as I was thinking about that, I thought, politics is basically applied worldview. So, there's one party that completely eliminated God from their platform, voted to eliminate. I saw it live on television.
I remember that.
And they completely removed God from their platform, and they all say
cheers and ovation, no doubt.
Absolutely,
unbelievable.
Did you see it live?
I did.
I couldn't believe that. And then, of course, if you read their platform, they're for pro-abortion. They're against natural marriage, and so politics is applied worldview. Whatever your faith is. It applies to how you vote. Okay.
That party, of course, was the Democrat Party that did that. Just had to throw
that
out
there.
I'm
throw that
sorry.
Out. The other thing, this early snow that we're getting and all this that went into Buffalo.
Yeah.
In a sense, that shows how absurd this global warming is. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I'm thankful that I don't live in Buffalo.
Yeah,
Because they've had a very, very difficult week, and actually even a difficult early month of November. Um, when you look at 8 to 9 feet of snow actually on the ground, that's a tremendous burden for those people to deal with. So. Thankful I'm not dealing with that. But on the other side of the the global warming side of things, I had a guest on my show not too long ago, Leighton Stewart, a gentleman who worked with NASA scientists, with UN scientists. He's a scientist himself, an environmentalist, a New York Times best-selling author. Definitely someone I would say is an authority on the source. And in all of his studies and everything that he has come across, including the larger groups that he's worked with NASA, it was the Right Climate Stuff group. A little play on the right stuff about the astronauts. And there is no evidence whatsoever that man-made CO2 emissions, carbon emissions, greenhouse gases are really having the effect that we are being led to believe they are.
Wow.
And the other thing is, if you look at the history of climatology in the United States, go back to the 1970s, we were entering an ice age. In the 1980s, we were entering a heat wave. And Al Gore comes along in the 90s, and the world's going to blow up in 10 years. No one has been right about this. We are back into a point now over the last 15 years. The overall surface temperature of the planet has not raised 1 degree. The hockey stick model of, it's going to hit this point and spike, it's been debunked, it's been disproven, yet we still have people out there, and not just anybody, world leaders, including our own President of the United States, saying the debate is over. This is proven science. It's a fact, and we're moving forward. Now, I always am skeptical from any scientist or any intellectual being that wants to say the conversation is over, the debate is over.
Right,
no scientist wants to end the debate. They want to continue to press to see if their hypothesis, if their theory is right. That's what science is about. Science is about saying, okay, I found the answer I want, I'm stopping, the debate's over. And that's what they've tried to do to us, and it's just not right.
Well, tell us about your niece, was it?
Yeah, I had a niece.
I think that's an amazing story.
Back in middle school, around Thanksgiving, as a matter of fact, we were all gathered around the house watching football. And by the way, go Eagles today. We're all watching football and hanging out and eating turkey. And somebody made a comment about climate change, and most of us laughed and made some jokes, and she got very upset. I mean, upset to the point where she was in tears because she believed that the earth was literally going to be in fire before she got out of college. Of course, now she is out of college, and she has seen that the earth is still right where she left her, 11 years ago or whatever the case may be now, 10 years ago. And so her view has softened on global climate change because what she was told is not happening.
Right.
What we've all been told, none of it is happening.
Unbelievable.
It's become a scheme. And the one thing that gets me about climate change, as you know, I'm a Christian as well, practicing Catholic, and I believe in Jesus Christ our Savior. And I believe that he created the world, and he created us in the world, as you said, with a purpose. Right. We're not some random act of particles and space debris that got together and, wow, here's an ape, and now these humans are evolving out of apes. No, that wasn't the case. We were designed as human beings, separate from apes, separate from the cosmic dust, because we are special and we have a purpose on this earth.
Right.
I think it is beyond ridiculous to think that we can control the atmosphere and the weather of our planet. What happens on the sun is going to have more effect on our planet than we ever will. 2 extra solar flares in a month is going to change our temperature more than any human on the planet can. What happens on the moon affects the tides in our planet more than we do. There's the cosmic dance that has been put in place by God, our Creator, is so intricate and so intense that everything is interactive to one another. We are not operating on a planet isolated from the solar system
Right.
and from the universe and the expanding galaxies. We are a part of it. And so our weather is a part of that bigger universe, which was all created by God. And we've got people like Al Gore and others saying, we are going to control this and change this.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
If we just put everybody out of work, we'd be all right.
The selfishness and the arrogance of climate change culture is absolutely absurd. It is absurd.
Now, just before we started the program, there was this comment that they interviewed people, college students.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, college students, they're still, they're being force-fed the same nonsense that many of us have been told for 30 years and we've seen is not true. But on the college campus where the professor controls, your grades and what you do, and it's been a while since I've been on campus, but I remember the feeling that you had to do well. You're paying your money. Your parents are expecting grades, lots of money. You're expecting grades. That's all. You're building for your future, and so you're very vulnerable to believe what your professors are telling you. And it is not an exaggeration, and it is there is numbers to bank. 80% of the college campuses in the United States of America are very liberal breeding grounds because there is no alternative viewpoint. If an alternative viewpoint is brought up in the classroom, it's very often shot down, mocked, ridiculed, ignored. And so, you get this one-sided conversation where you go onto the college campus and you ask about global warming, and they believe it, and they will say that you're the fool for not believing it. You're the one that hasn't opened your eyes. There was a gentleman just the other day took 2 flags to University of Berkeley in California. Now, we know it's a very liberal campus. Okay, I get that. But the first flag he waved was the ISIS flag, right? The Islamic State.
Oh, please.
So a lot of people walked by. Nobody stopped, but they kind of looked, shook their heads, were like, yeah, I get it. Every once in a while, he would point out, hey, you get it, right? ISIS isn't the bad guy. It's American imperialism. Right on. Yeah. And so he would get these comments. He did that for a little while. He put that flag down. He raised the Israeli flag.
Huh? And
it was amazing at the response. I cannot repeat half of the responses he got by raising the flag of Israel. Israel's are bleepity bleep bleeps, and Israel controls the world,
really?
And the negative reaction to Israel from the students was overwhelming. Yet the ISIS flag, even though it wasn't necessarily big support for it, there was no outrage, there was no condemnation, there was no barbaric terrorist murderer kind of comments being made about ISIS. They were reserved for the Jewish people when the flag of Israel was raised. So that's what's happening on our college campuses. And it's a sad state, whether it's climate can change or whether it's Israel fighting for its life against Palestine, whether it's the Islamic terrorist group that ISIS that wants to create a new world caliphate and come to the United States. And many reports indicate that there are already numbers of ISIS fighters in the United States.
Yeah.
When that is not getting the backlash and Israel is, we've got a lot of major problems to address on our college campuses.
This is the DVD we'd like to send you today. It's free, and we'll go into that a little bit. And the other thing we'd like to send you is this songbook that we've put together. These are old songs. Let me read you some of them.
The world's best.
The world's best songs. Okay, here's one. Love Lifted Me, Amazing Grace. And here's one, We Are Able to Go Up and Take the Country, Victory in Jesus, There's Power in the Blood, Put on the Garment of Praise, when the saints go marching in. I've decided to follow Jesus. There's 25 of them.
Amazing Grace, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace on the bagpipes is one of the most beautiful things. I can listen to it all day.
We'd like to send you this for free. You just call the number 893-2444. You can call right this minute. And if no one is there, you can leave your message on the answering machine. Tell them you want the Thanksgiving Day package, which is the songbook and this DVD.
And that has all the lyrics to all the songs in it as well. There you go.
It's not the notes, it's just the lyrics. So if you're like me and can't sing, you can read the lyrics. Jesus, keep me near the cross, there a precious fountain, free to all a healing stream, flows from Calvary's mountain. Well, anyway, put on the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, lift up your voice and sing. So it's just a tremendous, it changes your whole life. It's like a happy hour.
Yeah, well, and that's perfect for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Just get around with the family, sing some good songs. And, I have a theory that if you have a good voice, you should be singing in praise.
Yes.
And if you don't have a good voice, you should sing and get even.
That's right. Now, here's our DVD that we're giving away today. It's got 6 clips on it. The first clip is from David Barton, and he documents that the first Congress, which included the Founding Fathers, commissioned the first English Bible that was printed in America, and it was recommended for school children. So the Supreme Court said, the Founding Fathers didn't want any kind of mention of Christianity in the public schools. So we're going to take out the Bible, the Ten Commandments, the creation science, and prayer and all of that. But here, David Barton, and he's got a copy of the Bible. He's got a copy of the statement saying that it's for children, saying that the Founding Fathers who wrote the Constitution are the ones that put the Bible in our school.
Absolutely, because one of the biggest misnomers is the separation of church and state.
Right.
Everyone talks about it, and everyone says that means you can't have church, you can't have school, prayer in school. You can't have prayer and in government centers. You can't do this. You can't. That is, first of all, the separation of church and state does not appear in any of our documents. That term was used in a private letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote.
Right.
And so it's not in the Constitution. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. But what is, and what the Founding Fathers' intent was, that there would be faith in schools. There would be faith in the community. The difference is that it would not be a one state-run faith. It wouldn't be the Church of England. It wouldn't be the Church of France. It wouldn't be the Church of the United States. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that there's not supposed to be any faith or any religion. It's just that it won't be a state-sponsored religion.
In other words, when he's talking about the separation of church and state, that meant that the government wasn't going to control your faith.
Right.
In the schools and everywhere else. And that's exactly what they're doing now. They're taking Christianity out and put in any kind of religion you want except Christianity.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so this is a tremendous video. It has that in it. It says that this is a New York Times clip where they have found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Here's a former CBS anchor who said that, CBS wasn't printing her stories, and apparently they were supposed to quit.
Yeah, that's Atkinson?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just the other day, she released some new information. She was doing a story on Benghazi, and her computer was hacked while she was sitting at the computer. Someone took control and started immediately deleting and wiping information off of her computer. She was able to slow it down by hitting certain control buttons on the keyboard, but every time she brought her finger off the keyboard, the erasing and the wiping would continue. And she had, hopefully, she goes into it on that piece because it was very powerful. She had forensics come in and look at her computers and verify the information that it was hacked. Gave her information about where and where the attack came from, and she has pinpointed it to the current administration, trying to silence her journalism.
Now that's amazing. I don't. She kind of implies that. I don't know that she had it as definitive there on here, but I think she does go into that.
Yeah.
So that's on here too. This is let's see. That's a 5-minute clip from her about her journalism. Then the next clip is the Jonathan Gruber story about how he says that the voters are too stupid to realize that they were fraudulent in the Obamacare.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what
bill.
I think is great about that too is that he names names. I mean, Jonathan Gruber loves to name drop. And he says when Obama was in the room, Secretary Kerry came up with this idea. Senator Kennedy started this idea. I mean, he's been on the scene. Mitt Romney said this and did this with Romney Care in Massachusetts. This guy has been on the scene since the beginning, since Romney Care in Massachusetts. Obama used him in a video when he was running against Romney to say, look, you know, we're the same people. This guy's doing what I want to do. He used Gruber with Obamacare. Now that Gruber is running his mouth, nobody knows him. Nobody has anything to do with him. Nancy Pelosi doesn't know him. Obama doesn't know him. Well, he never was on our staff. He never did this. He never did that. He did something. He knows way too much information to be a nobody.
Well, you know, I was watching Fox News the other night, and they had Pelosi saying, oh, we want to thank Jonathan Gruber for doing such a good job with Obamacare and all this type of verbiage. And then right afterwards, they put her on saying, I don't know anything about Gruber. He didn't do anything for our bill.
So let's just take him and put him aside. I love that. Let's just put him aside. He's inconvenient now, so let's move him aside.
So this is, there's several clips on Gruber. This is one of them. I'm not sure we have everything on this one video, but they have a lot on here. So people are not going to believe that till they see this video. So you can talk all you want to, but you got to have the video to show people what happened with Obamacare. Then the other thing here is this is the 4 black activists from Chicago that were just being honest about what the current administration has done for the black people. And the final clip is Senator Gilroy, who is a state senator in Louisiana, and the title of his presentation, which is just 4 minutes, is Why I Am a Republican. So anyway, this is a red-hot atomic bomb.
That's great stuff.
And you need to see it. And what's more important, you need to show it to your cousins and your parents and your children and your grandchildren and your neighbor and everything else. And it's free because it's so red-hot. So just call that number, 893-2444. And we'll send you the songbook. It's free. And the DVD, and it's free. And just call right this minute, 893-2444. These, you know, there are a lot of problems in this country. And we could talk a long time about the problems. These are the solutions to the problem. If you get this DVD and show it to people, like your cousin, they're going to wake up, and they'll realize that they've been fed a line of baloney, and the government has not been honest with us, and people need to know what's going on in America and why it's going on and what we can do about it. Get this video and show it to everyone in your neighborhood.
Well, Dr. Simon, I want to take a moment to say thank you for all the work that you do. I mean, it is Thanksgiving, and listening again to what you're putting out here it's valuable information that other people aren't doing. You're doing it as a free service. All they need to do is call the number. They can get the DVD. They can get the songbook. And you do this all the time on a regular basis. And the job that you do in spreading the information, I'm very thankful for that. So keep up the good work.
Well, I appreciate that. It's like eating ice cream. You don't really have to thank me for eating ice cream. It is really tremendous. And, I was told that we now have over 500 people now that have gotten these videos and are showing them all over the state. And really, if we can, we'll go outside of Kentucky. We'll go to other states.
Excellent.
And we've got a lady that's in charge of that project, and she's doing a tremendous job. And we really want you to get this video, 893-2444. Well, I appreciate you. I saw you at a political meeting the other day.
Yeah. We're out and about, and I'm thankful for the great election that we had.
Oh, wow.
We turned
That's
the country red in that last election cycle. Hopefully they remember to take their backbone with them when the new Senate takes over, but hopefully they will. But it's been an interesting year. We go through lots of ups and downs here in the United States, but I've got a great family and a
That's
great
right.
job, and we still live in the greatest country on the face of the planet.
That's right.
And, if anybody out there really has to wonder what they're thankful for, take time and do it today.
Write
take
it
time
down.
and write it down what you're thankful for. Yeah, write it, talk about it. If you don't express it, sometimes you don't believe it. So talk to people about what you're thankful for and why America is what it is today.
Right.
There's so much that we overlook on a daily basis because we're inundated with the negative.
Yes.
But if we can push that off and we can get in that quiet space and we can have that conversation with God and we can realize that everything that we have in our life is through Him. And if you can't be thankful for that, I don't know what to tell you.
You got to think again.
You got to think again, yeah.
That is right, and that would be a good conversation to have at the Thanksgiving dinner, is have everyone give 2 or 3 things what they're most thankful for, and that would sort of change the attitude. We were talking earlier that, there's a movement to try to make things think you deserve everything in life.
The entitlement generation.
The entitlement generation. But really, it's only the grace of God that gives us a hope and a purpose and a calling and something to live for every day. God bless you, and tune in again next week for the rest of the news.